Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm gonna explain you AWS Lambda, the serverless revolution. So our today's journey will be what is the Lambda, key benefits, AI agent spotlight, pricing models, how the Lambda works actually behind the scene, real world use cases of the AWS Lambda, architecture deep dive, and some of the next steps that you can take for learning the AWS Lambda. So without wasting much time, let's get in the video. Okay, here it is. The code without run your code without managing the servers. Yes, the AWS Lambda provides you the functionality to run your codes without managing the lots of the server stuffs like server management, the Kubernetes, and the Docker. Lots of like those stuffs you don't have to do it manually. The AWS Lambda do it for yourself, and it's very convenient as a startup. If you think as a startup, it's very convenient. So basically, AWS Lambda is a serverless event-driven computer service. It's serverless event-driven. We will understand what is the exactly mean by the serverless. And the event-driven means that okay, there is a particular thing that your application done in a particular moment. So we call it as an event. So when, for example, if you upload any file into the database or into the server, then it's called as an event, and it will automatically trigger AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is nothing but I can say a function or the sum of the lines of codes that will execute it automatically based on the serverless and the event-driven architecture, right? So let's see what is the AWS Lambda. It's a serverless, it's a event-driven, and pay-per-use. Of course, the main thing of the using the serverless or this AWS Lambda thing that you don't have to manage the server cost. So it will automatically spin up the servers based on your traffic, based on your customers, the clients, and how they are coming onto your website or the particular application, and it will automatically increase the payment that you need to pay for the particular servers. Okay, here you can see the serverless architecture also on the screen. There is this one application. There are some of the users real-time data read, the limitations, and the like JWT authentications. There are different stuffs that can be happened with your serverless architecture. Okay, moving ahead, we have the events, the function, and the response. This is the architecture of the serverless architecture that it runs on the event, particular event. It executes the function and it gives you the response back based on that particular event that you have triggered. So AWS Lambda provides us that functionality that whenever an event is occurred in your application, it will automatically start to run and to execute the sum of the codes, and it will give you the response back. The stage one is the event source. Event source may be S3 upload. S3 upload means that if you upload anything like a file, a photo, anything on the AWS server on the particular that system, it will automatically trigger the AWS Lambda. And some of more like API calls or the DynamoDB streams. Stage 2 will be like Lambda functions, AWS Lambda function. So after triggering the event, you will see a Lambda function execution. So the event triggers execution of your function code. And the third stage is execution environment. It's like AWS provision a secure and isolated environment. Okay, let's understand the isolation and the secure environment. These are the functions are the isolated function. Okay, so we are not managing the servers, therefore these are isolation function. Even though some of you got attacked from the hacker or the anything like that, cybersecurity related issues, then AWS will automatically handle it, and it will just keep it isolated, so you don't have to monitor the server that okay something happens or not and something like that, right? And the final step is like the fourth stage will be the auto scaling. It will scale the function, it will scale the Lambda functions automatically as user want it. If you have 10 users in your website currently running, then it will just spin up the 10 Lambda functions based on the user requirements. And if you have hundreds of thousands of users on your client or on your website or your application, it will just spin up the hundred or thousands of Lambda functions automatically for you. The main thing is this is a very much big advantage of the AWS Lambda. Then here you can see example also I have given. For example, if you take a photograph, as you upload the photograph in S3 bucket of the AWS, it will automatically trigger a Lambda function. Basically, a continuous function, I can say that automatic function, and that's called the AWS Lambda. The work of the that person, it may be differed from application to application. Here we take as example of resizing the image, if you want to compress the image or something like that, and then we will like store it, and we will just send it back to the client, and whatever however you can use the output of the response of the AWS Lambda function as the user convenient. Okay, moving ahead, the pillars of serverless success. Let's see why the serverless architecture got success in the market. So that lots of startups, lots of companies are still using this, even though they are very big or they are very large. They have capable of their own servers, but still they are using the AWS Lambdas. So there are some of things like no server management, and as we think that okay, no server management mean it will automatically reduce the cost efficiency, and if there is a no cost, then like it will and also the automatic scaling. These are some of the features, the basic features of AWS Lambda. They have given us built-in features of this functionality. And then high availability. The main thing is like using the particularly AWS Lambda is that they have the high availability. Okay, they serve through the CDN, so the latency can be minimized as possible as. Then increased agility, a faster time to market. Okay, this is very important for the particularly from the perspective of the startups. They don't have to create their servers, manage their servers, and and it will automatically decrease the time to go to the market, and the cost and the cost efficiency required for the human resources and the cost server resources. So it's very convenient for the startups and the early stage startups also. Okay, moving ahead. Next is where Lambda shines exactly. Okay, let's see. Some of examples are web backends. Handle API request via Amazon API gateway for scalable web services. Okay, Amazon also provides the Amazon API gateway services. Okay, so it's like if you have thousands of user at a time, and in the next few minutes, if you get 10,000 of user, the Amazon will automatically handle those number of users, so you don't have to manage all of those things, and Lambda will help for it also, because Lambda is also at a scalable, so you don't have to manage the Lambdas like particular those functions, so it shines in a web backends also. And then the data processing, if you have anything like transform the data process streams from S3 DynamoDBs or Kinesis. It's like if you want to perform a particular operation based on the event, as we saw in the example also, if we upload any photo in the bucket, in the S3 bucket, it will automatically fire up the Lambda function. And then real-time file processing, scheduled task, IT automations. Scheduled task is very important actually. If you want to perform anything particular task based on the particular timing, then the AWS Lambda is very useful there, because you can define the schedule for that particular task to execute, and the AWS Lambda will automatically execute you for it. In this image, you can see also there are lots of users are coming. Some of they are uploading the buckets, then also we are firing the AWS Lambda function, and then it will process. We will process the further output in the AWS, or we can use it as you want. If you want to store it in your database, if you want to send it back to the client, and however you want, you can use that. Okay, next is powering intelligence autonomous. Okay, these are the like very the time to edge is function, Lambda function, because as we know that this is the AI era, and AI are the everywhere. AI agents are everywhere. We heard about AI agents. So how they are work exactly? AI agents are the mainly serverless, because they don't persist your history also. Okay, in a particular from the user's perspective, you know that okay, uh, the AI agent can give you a response back if you ask the previous one question, what was the last question, and something like that. But it's not like that. The architecture, the behind scene architecture is the serverless exactly, because every question is goes to the different Lambda or different AWS Lambda, I can say that, or different AWS functions, and it knows the history that what you asked the last question, therefore it can answer the question. But the base architecture of the agents, of the AI agents, is the AWS Lambda. So the thing is like you can deploy your own cost efficient AI agents in the AWS Lambda, and this is very big thing for the particular developer, starting or newbie developer, so they can use the AWS Lambda functionality as their perspective for coding. It may be a coding agent, a planning agent, or whatever it is. Okay, moving ahead, the autonomy of Lambda execution. Like, let's see how the Lambda execution exactly works. The first will be the handler, then runtime, execution environment, cold start, and warm start. Okay, I will go with the cold start and warm start. These are very important stuffs while we are dealing with the serverless architecture specifically. Cold start, I just say that initial startup time when execution environment is created, it may be from 100 to 500 milliseconds. Okay, it depends on your architecture, also on your code, or your the largeness of your code also, that how the initial startup works. And then the warm starts, like it reuses the existing environment, existing functions to get your work done from that particular AWS Lambda function. It's like if someone requests my AWS Lambda function something, and at the same time someone other uh, request to the same Lambda function. So that particular Lambda function will reuse it, raise it yourself, that automatically use it by AWS Lambda, and it will just reduce your cost also. Okay, moving ahead, then next is only pay what you use. This is very important stuff for the startups perspective and a student perspective also, because as a student we don't have lots of that much money. So if you think from that perspective, if you want to create your own demo project and whatever it is, you can use the AWS Lambda functions as your backend services. And then the compute time, the payment of the AWS Lambda functions are based on the compute time, the request you are writing, and the memory allocations. There are like three functions, and of course AWS Lambda provides a generous free tier for us, 1 million free requests, and then 4 lakh plus seconds for the compute time per month. And it's per month, actually it's very generous if you tire for as a hobby project or as a startup one also. You can explore it. Okay, moving last steps or the next step, I can say that for the cloud mystery or the AWS Lambda, challenge yourself to build something using the AWS Lambda. So you get to know that what is the serverless, what is the stateless architecture it may be, and then the resources. Okay, you have lots of resources. Explore the AWS serverless application model. We call it as a AWS SAM. So it's very give us a ease of deployment for the application and lots of those things. And then finally, connect with your nearest AWS cloud captain and ask them questions, ask for the events they are taking, go for the events. And okay, great. The future is the serverless, of course. Maximum things are going to the serverless, because no one has to manage the server cost there explicitly by themselves. So the serverless, it's the future, of course. And okay, finally, great. Thanks for watching the video, and I will meet you once again in the next video. Thank you.